Right. Buckle up, buttercups, because this story has more plot twists than a soap opera written by someone having a nervous breakdown. We've got antisemitism allegations, deleted tweets, government advisors, and Angela Rayner caught in the middle like a deer in headlights at a rave. And before you ask, no, this isn't some fever dream cooked up by the Daily Mail's editorial team after a 3-day bender. This actually happened, and it's messier than a toddler's first attempt at finger painting. So picture this. You're Angela Rayner, Deputy Prime Minister, living your best political life, probably wondering what fresh hell Monday morning will bring. Then suddenly, bang, you're faced with a scandal that's like finding out your dinner party guest has been tweeting conspiracy theories about who really controls the world's puppet strings. Except this isn't your mate Dave from the pub. This is Baroness Gohir, one of 5 people you personally appointed to help define Islamophobia for the government. And let me tell you, the irony here is thicker than Boris Johnson's relationship with the truth. Now, let's rewind to February when everything seemed so simple. Angela Rayner's department thought they were being proper progressive by appointing a diverse panel to tackle the thorny issue of defining anti-Muslim hatred. Baroness Gohir seemed like a solid choice, experienced, knowledgeable, ready to roll up her sleeves and get to work. What could possibly go wrong? Well, as it turns out, literally everything. Because while they were busy patting themselves on the back for their inclusive approach, someone forgot to do the digital equivalent of checking under the sofa cushions. And boy, did they find some uncomfortable things hiding in those social media archives. The campaign against antisemitism weren't having any of it. They'd done their homework, and I mean proper homework, not the kind where you copy your mate's answers 5 minutes before class. They dug up tweets from 2013 and 2014 that were still public as recently as 2022. These weren't some throwaway comments made in the heat of the moment. We're talking about sustained commentary that, according to the CAA, hit every note in the anti-Semitic Greatest Hits album. Let's talk about these tweets, shall we? Back in September 2013, when the world was debating military action against Syria's Bashar al-Assad, Baroness Gohir fired off his absolute corker. Will Israel influence the U.S. vote on whether to invade Syria? Are the Americans really in control of their own decisions? Just asking. Now, I don't know about you, but when someone adds just asking to a conspiracy theory, it's like putting a cherry on top of a sewage sundae. It doesn't make it any more palatable. It just makes you question their judgment even more. But wait, there's more. Because apparently one conspiracy theory tweet is like eating one Pringle. You can't stop at just one. A week later, she doubled down with, who controls America's foreign policy? Israel. They will be the ONLY beneficiaries of a U.S. attack on Syria. At this point, you've got to wonder if anyone in her social circle thought to maybe, just maybe, suggest she put the phone down and go for a nice walk instead. The hits kept coming, though. In 2014, she shared a news article about Obama warning Netanyahu over Gaza peace talks, adding her own special commentary. Us warns Israel over Palestine talks failure. I bet Israel are quaking in their boots. Not, don't they control U.S.? It's like she was playing anti-Semitic trope bingo and was determined to get a full house. And just to make sure she covered all the bases, she also tweeted that the hold Israel has over world leaders, including Muslim ones, is extraordinary, that they continue to murder Palestinians and get away with it. Now, here's where things get properly spicy. The campaign against antisemitism didn't just file these tweets away for future reference like some political gossip magazine. No, they wrote a proper letter to Angela Rayner in February, complete with references to the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition of antisemitism that the British government had already adopted. Stephen Silverman, the Director of Investigations, basically served up a masterclass in how to explain why this is really not okay. He pointed out that according to the IHRA definition, the one the government actually uses, making allegations about Jewish control over governments is literally textbook antisemitism. It's one of the oldest tricks in the bigotry playbook, right up there with blaming Jews for everything from bad weather to your team losing the football. Silverman didn't mince words. Having someone who peddles these theories advise on government policy isn't just inappropriate. It's particularly ironic that someone violating one government definition should be crafting another. The delicious irony here is like watching someone crash their car while texting about road safety. You've got a government that's supposedly committed to fighting all forms of racism, appointing someone to help define one type of hatred while apparently ignoring their history of promoting another. It's a political equivalent of hiring a vegetarian to run your butcher shop. Technically possible, but you're probably going to run into some philosophical contradictions along the way. And where was Angela Rayner during all this? Well, that's the million-pound question, isn't it? The CAA sent their letter in February, followed up in August, and apparently got about as much response as you'd expect from shouting into the void. It's like sending a strongly worded email to customer service and getting an automated reply that thanks you for your patience. The government's response, completely ignored when it finally came after GB News started sniffing around, was about as useful as a chocolate teapot. A Ministry of Housing spokesperson trotted out the classic line about how all members are expected to uphold the principles of public life, which is bureaucratic speak for, "We know we've messed up, but we're hoping you'll forget about it if we use enough fancy words." They also promised they'd shortly be responding to the CAA's letter, which in government time probably means sometime before the heat death of the universe. Meanwhile, Baroness Gohir decided to go with the classic "it was all a misunderstanding" defense. She claimed she deleted the post because bad actors were deliberately twisting their meaning, and insisted her criticism was clearly directed at the Israeli government, not Jewish people. It's the political equivalent of saying I'm not racist, I have Jewish friends. Technically a defense, but not exactly a convincing one when you're promoting conspiracy theories about global Jewish control. But here's the thing that really gets me fired up about this whole mess, the sheer incompetence of it all. We're not talking about some obscure backbench MPs in turn making a mistake. This is a Deputy Prime Minister's department, supposedly staffed with people who know how to use Google and maybe, just maybe, thought to check someone's social media history before putting them in charge of defining hatred. It's like hiring a babysitter without checking if they've ever been convicted of child abuse. Basic due diligence that apparently went completely out the window. The timing couldn't be worse either. We're living in an era where antisemitism is on the rise across Europe, where Jewish communities are genuinely fearful about their safety and security. Having someone with a history of promoting anti-Semitic conspiracy theories involved in government policymaking isn't just tone-deaf, it's actively harmful. It sends a message that these views are somehow acceptable, that there's a hierarchy of hatred where some forms of bigotry matter more than others. And let's be brutally honest about what this says about the government's commitment to fighting antisemitism. They can talk the talk all they want about adopting international definitions and taking this seriously, but when push comes to shove, they apparently can't even be bothered to properly vet their own appointees. It's like proclaiming you're on a strict diet while secretly mainlining donuts in the office supply closet. The broader implications here are staggering. If the government can't manage basic due diligence when appointing advisors, what does that say about their competence in literally any other area? Are we supposed to trust them with the economy, healthcare, education, when they can't even manage to check someone's Twitter history? It's enough to make you wonder if we've accidentally elected a government of people who think due diligence is a fancy French phrase they don't understand. But perhaps the most infuriating aspect of this entire debacle is the silence from the top. Where's Keir Starmer in all this? The man who positioned himself as a steady hand on the tiller, the adult in the room who would restore competence to government? Radio silence. It's like he's gone into witness protection while his deputy deals with the fallout from what can only be described as a completely avoidable scandal. This whole mess perfectly encapsulates everything that's wrong with modern politics. The incompetence, the lack of accountability, the willingness to ignore problems until they blow up in your face. It's governance by crisis management, where every day brings a new fire to put out because nobody thought to install proper smoke detectors in the first place. So there you have it, folks. Another day, another completely preventable political scandal brought to you by the people who are supposedly running the country. Angela Rayner finds herself suspended not because she posted the tweet, but because she apparently couldn't be bothered to properly investigate the people she was putting in positions of influence. It's incompetence dressed up as ignorance, and frankly, I'm not sure which would be worse. Thanks for watching this latest episode of How Did We Get Here? Don't forget to subscribe to UK Pancakes for more political chaos served with a side of brutal honesty, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll probably be dissecting whatever fresh disaster tomorrow brings.